Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for another video. So, yesterday, Sunday, last night, I tried the event quest for the first time, before it was changed, and, had to do the one run through to Classic, and then that unlocked Elder, and then I ended up doing the first quest in Elder, and it took me, I didn't time myself, but I want to say it took me anywhere from 30 minutes, I'd say anywhere from 30 minutes to about 45 minutes, or maybe 50 minutes, anywhere in that window, 30 to 50 minutes. So that was quite a bit of time, for one quest. And, yesterday, after I had done that first quest, I thought, like, there's no way there can be 6 of these. But no, there's 6 of them. So that was yesterday, and, I didn't want to make a video discussing all this without having actually tried the content for myself, because then how am I supposed to give a valid opinion if I haven't tried the content myself, So made sure to try it before I made the video yesterday, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is terrible. I see why the community is up in arms. This is bad. It needs to be changed. So then today, Kabam changed it. They took away the old EQ and they relaunched it as a new one with some supposed changes. Now, it was hard to kind of even really see the changes at first. So classic difficulty does feel better now. But one of the biggest complaints is that you have to do classic difficulty to begin with. Like, Elder difficulty is already so daunting and time consuming. To force us to do classic mode first is just like a kick in the pants, man. Like, really? Like, if it was kind of similar to, like, what the Paragon Gauntlet was, if you just make us fight all 6 of the bosses first, and you can juice up the bosses, and then you have to do that to then unlock Elder, okay, sure. But I don't want to have to go through the entirety of each quest a single time to then unlock Elder. That's too much, dude. I just live streamed, 100%ing the entirety of Elder here. You can see it's a 5-hour stream. I would say, 40 minutes of this, just shave that off. That takes us to about 4.5 hours. That's about what it took me to actually do the content. So, let's just kind of go in here and let's see how long did it take me just to finish classic mode. And I'm pretty sure it was like 40 minutes or so. Let's see here. We've done it at this point yet? 50 minutes in. I think. No, this was still classic. Yeah, was it over an hour to finish classic? It was. It totally was. So yeah, it was about at this point. Yeah, this was the final fight, Mr. Knight. So dude, this took me literally over an hour just to unlock Elder difficulty. That is too long. That is too long. It should not be taking me an hour, man. An hour into the stream just to unlock Elder. That's too long. That is too long. I do not like that. I do not like that at all. And then Elder itself is still going to take you, like, at least bare minimum 3 hours. It's about 20 to 30-ish minutes per quest. And that's, like, with perfect counters, with a really stacked roster and good counters, and rank 3s and rank 4s, and the occasional 6-star, playing well, playing into the nodes, about 20 to 30 minutes per quest. There's 6 quests. That's a lot. So let's go ahead and switch things over to Elder difficulty now, and let's go ahead and dive into the first quest. So what was really even actually changed in Elder? And so there's 3 things that I know for sure that were changed. So the first thing was, which is kind of harder to know if you didn't do it previously, and that was champions were changed. So this Aegon here was a blade, This Iron Fist here was a Spiral, who specifically was really brutal. The first iteration, I used Kitty Pryde here, and it was like impossible to do the fight with Kitty, man, with just her. I ended up using multiple revives, because basically what would happen is I would start the fight. I would build to a special 1. By the time I've built a special 1, I have more than 10 bleeds on me. I would use the special 1 while phased to convert said bleeds to Fury passives, but by the end of my special 1, I would already be at least 4 bleeds again, and because the attack and health values were so stupidly skyrocketed, the bleeds were just killing me, even though, as a mutant, my Kitty Pryde's supposed to be 90% resistant to those bleeds. Didn't matter. Still just dying. Like, it cost me multiple revives, and the only way I was even able to get past the fight was not only to revive Kitty, but to heal her up to full, just so that I could lose enough health to not die. Like, it was ridiculous, man. And I believe there was also a Kingpin in here that was also subbed out. Was it maybe for this Crossbones? I don't know. Yeah, so fights were swapped, or maybe it was this Black Cat that was Kingpin before. I don't know. But like a few fights were swapped. So that's the first thing that was changed with Elder. So, you know, they've simplified the paths so that they're not as bad. But the simplification wouldn't even have been really so as required, you know, if the health and attack pools were just lowered to begin with. Then it wouldn't have been nearly as bad. So I don't really think that's as much of a big deal. But sure, that's still a good thing. But it's kind of harder to notice unless you've done the other difficulties. But as I was going through the other difficulties on stream, people had the occasional call, like, oh, this fight used to be this champion, and it was changed. So that's one of the more minor things. The next two things are the much bigger things. So, like I said, this was Blade before. Now it's Aegon, so an easier champ to fight. And so let's just compare values here now. So, health, 600,000. All right, what was the health pool before? It was 932,000. So about 30% of the health pool has been cut away. But, you know, and I mean, the health is important. You know, almost 1 million health on each fight. Like, that's too much, right? This is much more realistic. But that wasn't even the biggest problem. You know, the biggest problem by far, bar none, of the entire Elder difficulty was the attack values. The attack values were just way, way too high. Like, you make one little slip up, you're dead. You're just guaranteed dead. If the opponent gets a special 3, you're guaranteed dead. If you have debuffs on you that, again, you're supposed to be healing from with willpower, you're still going to die. Just because the attack values are that high that they make even a smaller percentage on willpower just makes all the difference. You know, so the attack value, it was at 27,000 before. Now we're at 17,000. So that is massive. That is the biggest change, and that is, I would say, is the best change, and just the like most needed change. So that's good. The content now is like actually doable realistically, even with like a lower rank champ. You know, like I went in and I did this fight with a rank 1 Sunspot, and it was easy. I finished the fight with 80% health. You know, again, if we jump quickly over here, it looks like this has just been kind of going. Yeah, wait, the first fight I used Sunspot against this Aegon. So this is just, you know, rank 1 Sunspot, and you can see we're not really taking too much damage from the bleeds. Rank 1 Sunspot, like, we're taking a little bit of bleed, and we're healing it back. We're fine. This is rank 1 only, and boom, fight's destroyed. So, you know, that is a very stark difference to what we had before, which is way more health and way freaking more attack. So that's good. But still, one of the biggest pieces of feedback I gave on my video that I made yesterday about all this is the size of the quest. Dude, it's way too long. 15 path fights and then a boss fight. Again, that was like kind of stretching my endgame roster. If we're talking about a freshly Valiant account, like, they're not going to have that many champions. And now that the health and the attack have been scaled down, it is more realistic to bring in lower ranked champions. But still, man, it's so many fights. And if you want us to do this each and every month, you gotta dial the fights down. You gotta either dial the fights down or take away the need to do classic mode. Or both. Or both. Both is an option and the preferred option. Somehow to make classics more seamless, it should not take more than 20 minutes, in my opinion. But in just a general opinion, it should not be taking more than 30 minutes to get into Elder. It should not take more than 30 minutes for like a very end game level account to have to spend more than that time to unlock Elder difficulty, in my opinion. It just shouldn't be a thing. That's way too long. And Elder difficulty is too long as well. Again, this was a 5-hour stream. Again, 4.5 hours minimum to Classic and Elder. That's just too much time, bro. That's too much time, in my opinion. I get that this is meant to be a monthly thing and not just something you're supposed to knock out in a day, but still, it's so long. There's no need for it to be 15 fights. 10 fights at most would be good. You know? 10 fights, that's still quite a few. It's still going to take time. There's no need for 15. Another thing is that, you know, we have these paths end. So currently in Elder EQ, you know, you don't get to heal after the choice swaps, which I can understand, but I think there should be at least one, you know, healing thing. Kind of like you think about in incursions, you know, when you get to a certain point, you can get a heal. Those should be in these quests. You know, at least one at like the halfway point. Boom, you get to that halfway point, you get to heal up, a free healing. You've earned it. Or if they wanted to even implement like one after each of the paths, like once you switch paths, once you teleport, boom, you get a free heal. Like I think that would just be a really pro player move, especially again for like I don't need that. I don't need a heal. I have a big stash of consumables that I should be using, you know. But again, thinking about a more fresh Valiant account that has lots of other content to be doing, they don't want to be, you know, using their heals and their potions and everything in this quest. And sure, if they're struggling, they might have to use some consumables, but still, help them out, Kabam. Throw in a healing node, at least one in each quest. So, yeah, that's the bulk of my feedback when it comes to this Elder EQ after, you know, having the full 100% experience here for you guys. Like, I feel like I can, you know, really give my thoughts, my opinions, my feedback, because I've done it all. I've put in all the work, and I've 100%, so I know what I'm talking about. I just did it. I know what it feels like. I know how long and tedious it can be. And again, this is for my account, an account that has counters to every single fight. And it still took me that long. And then my other biggest gripe, actually, and this one, you know, is not the biggest of deals, but it should also be very simple to fix, and that is the rewards. It was so anticlimactic when we finally finished. Let me pull it up here for you guys. So we finally finished, man. After, you know, the 5-hour stream, we did it. We finished it, and just look what happened. Look what happened. So I'm all excited, you know, ready to get my rewards. You know, I'm ready for literally all these rewards. Look at all these rewards here. You know, I'm ready for them to just pour in. You know, get that dopamine hit of just seeing all your rewards pop up after you finish a quest, right? What happens when you finish Elder EQ? That's it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, yes, the rewards are claimed. I have them all already. But I want to see them all pop up. I want to see all the rewards pop up on screen. You know, I don't care whether I've earned them already or not. Show me what I just earned by going through all of this. I want to see it, man. That was the most anticlimactic thing ever in this game. After, again, a 4+ hours to do all this, and I don't even get the dopamine hit of seeing all my rewards that I just earned. Like, come on, man. Come on. That's always such a satisfying feeling. You know, when you put in the hours and you get to see, oh, here's all my rewards that I just worked for, you know, when I don't even get to see that irked me. I did not like that. So again, that's really not the biggest of deal. But for me, after all that hard work, man, I want to see my rewards, you know, So I don't think that should be an issue for Kabam to implement something like that. Show me what I got, man. Show me all my Titan shards, especially the big items. Like, I want to see it. So, yeah, that is Elder EQ, monthly EQ adaptive event quest. My thoughts on it after having 100%ed the content myself day one after it is dropped. So yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for my review, my feedback. I'm gonna send this directly to Kabam in the CCP Discord as well, so they can hear all my feedback. But yeah, if you guys please drop your feedback as well in the comment section down below. There's always a chance Kabam's gonna be reading it, and if there's anything I think is gonna be really useful to pass along, I can totally do that as well. So drop a comment, let me know. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a super fun stream. Like, a 5-hour stream is a long time, but it didn't feel like a long time because I'm just having such a good time hanging out with all you guys, all the homies in chat. So the plan is to come back for another live stream. I don't think it'll be 5 hours, but we'll be back tomorrow, finish up some Act 9, Chapter 3, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, if you guys... brain fart. Alright, guys, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah, be on the lookout for the 9.3 stream tomorrow. Hope you have a great, wonderful day. Peace.